Is here, and with me today is Saint Valmont for our weekly gaming news podcast thingamajiggy. And today we got a few stories to talk about. I think this is probably the most stories we have to talk about ever.
In a while, yeah.
We have a fair few things, so let's get right into it. So let's start off with what have you been up to this week? Not that. I bet.
World of Warcraft, and World of Warcraft. A little bit of sleep mixed in there, some alcohol, and work.
I'm partially ashamed to admit that I am 100% addicted to World of Warcraft again. I thought I had kicked that habit, and now I'm back. It dragged me back in. It just...
I did it. We
yeah,
did
it was
boys.
your fault
Got it
too.
back in.
So, before we get started, I'm just going to quickly host us on my other channel. Done. So yeah, this week's just been World of Warcraft and work for me. That's about it. I went out a little bit. I escaped the confines of these four walls for a few minutes at least. But yeah, it's... that game. I am starting to feel like I'm maybe getting to the point of having done everything I can do for now. But...
no, you haven't done everything you can do, because you didn't... You're not decked out in Mythic gear.
oh, there's actual Mythic gear. Okay,
Yeah,
we'll talk about that in a
gear
minute then.
gear for Mythic dungeons.
Let's first hop into our first story of the day, which is Star Wars Battlefront related. EA just announced that Star Wars Battlefront is getting, wait for it, space battles. That thing that the original Battlefront had from the very beginning. And the
Didn't
thing
we already
that
have shitty space battles in the game?
I don't
I thought.
like, kind of like land, like in planet battles in the sky essentially, but not space. Now, when the game first came out, everyone was pissed that it did not have space battles, because obviously that's what the original had, and this was supposed to be an improvement, or a sort, just a remake of the original, and it wasn't. It had so much missing,
Well,
and now they're adding it as fucking DLC.
to be fair, people who thought it was going to just be a remake of the original Battlefront need to get their panties out of a twist, because there was nothing that ever said it was going to be a remake or anything like that. It was just going to be a modern Battlefront, is all. There's a huge difference between believing it's going to be a remake, like, I don't know. Like,
We've all seen what believing can do with
Yeah.
recent games.
Well, that's one of my biggest problems with sorry, this is a little off topic, with consumers, is they put blinders on all of the fucking time. They're like, oh my god, this game is going to be this, when nothing has ever said it was going to be that way. They turn their own personal wants, you know what I mean, for something, and throw it on that thing, even though, and then they're like, oh my god, you said that was going to happen, when they didn't.
I kind of agree with you. I don't believe they did ever say that space battles were going to be a thing in the game. But come on, adding this thing so late and having it as a fucking paid DLC.
Oh yeah. Well, not even that. The insulting thing is we're getting the newer Battlefront here soon. So
Yeah.
why are you just...
I bet that comes out with space battles from the get-go.
No, it'll be shit again. It'll be butchered into millions of pieces, and
And then
butchered
sold
up into
to
a million
you.
pieces and sold to you.
Spoon-fed to you as DLC over time.
And idiots out there all around the world are gonna buy it because I guess they're... All right. Here's my theory about people who continually buy a product from a really shitty person. Now, EA is not all shit. They do have some good games, that they actually take care of. But in the case of Battlefront, right? We all know there's going to be a sequel. They said as much. And the first one was garbage, as far as I'm concerned. It was just a really pretty Star Wars shooter. That was about it. Yeah. But, not only wasn't it that great of a game, but, their business practices with it were shit. So, you got people that are like, oh, I fucking hate this, you know, this is garbage. And then those same people are going to be the ones that turn around and buy Battlefront 2 when it comes out, be really pissed off, and wonder why they're making a third one. It's like, because you people are that fucking dumb to continually buy their shitty, butchered up products, they're going to keep selling it to you that way.
Yep.
The only way you can tell these companies fuck you is with your wallet. That's the only way they're going to care. They don't care how much you bitch, whine, scream, piss, moan. As long as you buy their new game when it comes out, that's all that matters to them. And for those people who pre-order that shit, they make it even worse. End rant.
Yeah, it's kind of, I don't know. Like, I've stopped pre-ordering games ever since the shit show a few months ago. I'm holding off. Like, as soon as just before the stream, I saw For Honor was up for pre-order now. I was like, gotta resist as much as I'm gonna get in there on the whatever the beta or whatever the fuck they got going on right now.
Ubisoft is one company I will never pre-order from again. Never. Their games are always shit on release. Always shit. Every fucking time. I swear. They really are. Like, dude, did you play The Division at release?
I played The Division in beta and immediately thought, fuck this game.
But, okay, well, I was one of those people that got suckered into playing that game because my friends wanted to play it.
Okay.
I was like, and I played the beta. I didn't think it was that bad. I figured, you know, that's another game that, you know, at its core, it's Diablo with guns. Diablo with guns is a really good idea. If you didn't make the same mistakes that Diablo 3 made when it first launched, having fuck all to do.
You're comparing Diablo with The Division.
Yes, because they're the exact same game. If you don't see how Diablo and The Division are the same game, I kind of feel sorry for you. I'm not gonna lie.
But either way, I have no interest in The Division. As soon as I played the beta, I was like, this is just gonna be complete shite.
I mean, it's literally Diablo 3 with guns.
I have friends who obsess over The Division, and I just do not share their sentiments on it whatsoever. I don't want to just sit there and shoot at a bullet sponge for 10 minutes.
Well, what's the difference between that and Diablo 3?
Okay, nothing.
Exactly. You just go around mindlessly killing things, and
loot.
at least in Diablo, see, Diablo learned from its mistake where people weren't getting loot at all. You know, and their upgrade and crafting system was rather boring at first, but they fixed that. I'm still not a fan of it because I don't know. I never found it to be a challenge, even with the Rift systems. But you know, at least Diablo 3 fixed itself. The Division was like, we're gonna be Diablo 3 back when it was shit, and have infinitely more bugs on release. That's basically what the Division did. They're fixing it now, apparently.
They're slowly adding improvements.
Well, I heard they're making some big improvements. A buddy of mine was telling me about them at work the other day.
I don't know. I just still don't think it's going to be enough to get me into that game.
I don't either, honestly. Like,
all I had to do, like, sure, graphics don't make a game, but when they show what they showed at E3, and then released the beta, and the graphics were so heavily downgraded, I was like, they're not going to release what they promised.
Well, I mean, okay, see, now, you did a stupid thing by believing the footage you saw at E3. That's a stupid.
That is a stupid, I agree.
That's how we get things like people being pissed off at, Aliens Colonial Marines, right? When that happened. Now, the fact that they made that game completely different, not graphics-wise, is one thing. That's understandable why people were pissed off, because they touted the game to be something it definitely wasn't going to be, kind of like what No Man's Sky did recently. But, as far as graphics and shit, don't ever buy the shit you see at E3, guys. None of it. Even if it's supposed in-game footage or whatever. It's not. Well, I mean, it could be, but I want to say about 80 to 85% of the time, it's not actual in-game footage.
No.
They're selling you on that shit. They want you to be hype and
And
excited.
I'm guaranteeing it
for this shit.
almost all of the time it is not live gameplay. It's just actors on a stage pretending to fucking play a game. Especially this past year's E3 when they did the VR Minecraft, it was so clearly pre-recorded. It was
Or like when we saw the
painful to watch the people do it.
The God of War, the new God of War gameplay, supposedly.
Yeah, it was kind of too perfect, you know. Just the character movements and everything were a little too perfect for somebody to be playing it live in front of thousands, if not millions. But I don't know. What were we even talking about? Battlefront. How did we go on such a tangent? Jesus Christ.
Because it's me.
Yes, do you don't think you'll ever be a fan of the Battlefronts?
I mean,
Do you think they'll do Battlefront 2 good, or do you
if
think they're
I
just
see
gonna
them
be...
put some actual, for one, I won't pre-order it. That I'll wait for it to come out. I'll probably wait about a month after it comes out, and that's about the time I'll decide if I want to buy it or not.
Did you play the Battlefield 1 beta?
Yeah.
The Battlefield 1 beta?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. What did you think about that one?
I probably won't buy it because I'm getting fucking sick of every Battlefield release focusing more and more on vehicular combat, and I hate vehicular combat.
It's
if
annoying.
I wanted to play it, like, if I wanted vehicle combat, right, I would play games that are specifically designed for it, like, you know, where you're actually in
World
a
of Tanks
vehicle
and-
all the time. Like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't want vehicle combat in my first-person shooter. Just don't. I want to shoot people. That's my job. That's what I'm there to do.
Yeah,
I mean,
makes
it's kind of
complete
hard
sense.
to snipe people when everybody's in fucking tanks and airplanes.
Yep. I 100% agree there. I mean, I hopped into a tank. As soon as the tank became available, I hopped into that shit because it's so easy to get a really high kill death ratio. And it's just really unfair in a sense.
No,
I don't know.
unfair.
It's like it's
boring.
I
It's
guess
like, oh, look,
realistic
I ate
in the sense
another
of
tank
having
shell to the
vehicles,
face.
but the way that there's just so many vehicles, and as an infantry person, especially in an open map like that, you're fucked regardless. There's no way.
Oh, it makes snipers, like, roles like a sniper feel, like, entirely useless.
There's a little bit. So let's move on to the next topic. Let's talk about The Last Guardian. What do you know?
The Last Guardian, basically, in short, it just got pushed back.
Again.
It got pushed back from September, October 25th, I want to say. Let me just double check real quick. Pretty sure it's October 25th.
I say it again in a sort of disappointed tone, but it's not the end of the world when games get delayed, and it's kind of a good thing in some cases. It gives them more time to develop it, fix bugs, even
Well,
add
that's
new
actually the
things.
biggest reason they pushed it back was they were running into a lot more bugs than they expected, which is good. And actually, I'm glad to hear people like developers admit that kind of thing.
Yeah,
Makes me
absolutely.
happy.
Who's developing it?
Do
you know that? I'm curious to know who it is because if it's a big time developer or they're under a big time publisher, then
Well,
I'm
it's the
quite
same people
surprised.
who made Ico and Shadow of the Colossus, I'm pretty sure.
I can't remember who that was.
Yeah, I don't remember off the top of my head. There's a couple different names in the article. I don't want to say a name and
Right,
you know what I
right.
mean. Not be sure, but so the original release date was October 25th, and it was pushed back to December 6th. I mean, I know why people are pissed off because you know they've been waiting for a really long time for the game to come out and whatnot. You know, the game wasn't even originally going to come out because the developer was like, well, you know, there's really no interest in it, and all of a sudden.
And all of a
Once
sudden
he
the
said
internet's
that he
like,
wasn't
we
gonna
want
make
it.
everybody's like, no, we fucking want this game.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I could have lived with or without it personally. You know, if it didn't come out, it didn't come out. If it did, it did. I'm glad it is coming out, but you know, I'm not going to be one of those people that are up in arms, pissed off about it. If it would have,
Yeah.
never came to life.
I'm excited for it. I actually heard of it recently when everyone was talking about it. I'm like, wait, what is this? And they're like, think Shadow of the Colossus, but better. I'm like, okay.
Well, people
Say
can't
no
really
more.
say that because they have no idea what it's actually going to turn out to be. I think it's
True.
going to play more like Ico than Shadow of the Colossus.
Still, two great games.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
So that's been delayed. So that was just to fix bugs and stuff then. That was their
It's
primary.
just technical difficulties, basically bug fix. They couldn't iron out some bugs in time. And I really wish, talking about delays and bugs and stuff. I really wish developers would actually take the time to realize if we have problems, we really should not release the fucking game and rush it out the
Not always
door.
up to them though. That's the problem with modern day
Well, rather
industry.
publishers, I should
Yeah.
say. It's publishers' fault. But
Publishers say, well, if you want our money, you have to release on this date, regardless
those
of what's happening.
publishers. I doubt that they really care, but they can also go eat a big bag of dicks, because if they actually understood how, people are going to be happier with a finished game, or at least a working game on release, than a broken piece of shit that you just want to throw in a fire.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at you, Ubisoft. You're one of the big fucking offenders on my list for releasing busted as shit games.
Well, that's true. And Sony for pushing the No Man's Sky devs to release. I mean, sure, I don't think that game was ever going to reach what they promised, but they still
honestly,
rushed it way too fast.
No, I honestly think that game got exactly where they wanted it to on release, and that honestly, I think the game is pretty much exactly what they had intended to release it as. They just fucked up by overhyping it. Like, the things that they were talking about, I think might be added later down the line, but they knew that the state the game is in now was about where it was going to be, maybe a little further, maybe a hair behind, you know what I mean, give or take, on release. I think they knew that, and Sean Murray, right? Yeah. I think he just didn't know how to zip his fucking lips.
No, he was making far-fetched promises left, right, and centre. He reminds
So he's
me
basically Peter Molyneux Jr.?
Exactly, I was going to say he's the modern-day Peter Molyneux. Or Molyneux? Is it the X silent? I don't know.
Pretty sure it's Molyneux.
Yeah, he is the modern-day Peter, by far. And I've found it so... Huh?
Even Peter, after a time, learned to keep his fucking mouth
Yeah,
shut.
exactly. I found it so funny going to Sean Murray's Twitter the other day, and he's just gone dead silent. It's like, that's the best thing you've done in a long time.
And for the record, I want to say that it's not bad that somebody's that excited about their game, but they, you need to learn, in these kind of situations that it's fine to be happy and excited, but there are times where maybe you should keep it to yourself, or in a close circle of people, or something like that. Because especially if you already know that your game's not going to be in that state when it's going to come out, maybe you just contain yourself.
Specify that this is what you would like to do. This is
Yeah,
where the game.
that too.
This is not like 3 months before the game going dropping hints that there's going to be multiplayer, and then as soon as the game releases, we didn't actually say there was. Like, well, yeah, you kind of
so
did.
Cryptic about everything.
Yeah,
that's why people thought that they were gonna. Now, honestly, I'm the type of person. It's not going to be in the game unless they specifically say it's going to be in the game.
Yep.
To be fair, he never specifically said multiplayer.
No, I'm totally with you.
Game.
He never specifically said multiplayer, but
I
you can't really blame the people who are mad that there isn't multiplayer.
Oh yeah,
because he was by far dropping hints that there was in fact multiplayer.
Well, that one trailer where he's like he outright says, the only way you're during one of his interviews is the only way you'll know what your character looks like is if somebody else sees you.
Mm-hmm.
Or can you grief players in this game? Yeah, a little bit. Stuff like that. Like there, I can give more examples if I care to, but those are two of the big ones.
Yeah, he was very cryptic about everything, which was one of the issues with the game. I mean, like I was saying just now, 2 months before release, he's dropping these hints about multiplayer. Instead of saying, this is where the game is now, this is what you can actually do in the game. He was still going, oh yeah, we have these amazing big space battles, you can destroy these freighters, whatever you want to call them. And you can't even damage them. You can't even destroy the space stations, which they promised.
Can't do shit.
You can't do shit. No.
Other than play a watered down version of Minecraft.
You can't choose your faction. You can't choose your alliance with whatever race you want to be with. It was, yeah.
So
Big,
it's
big,
basically
big disappointment.
watered down Minecraft in space. Yeah.
More or less, yeah. I think even Minecraft, you probably had more things to do.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
That's why I said watered down by a lot, actually.
it's just, I don't know. And, yeah. Anyway, I want to get off that subject. I feel like that's been
Absolutely.
talked
We'll go on
death.
for days.
Yeah.
We'll go on for days about it.
Let's move on to our next story about a YouTuber being charged over gambling because
I
he
know
was.
for the record, I know nothing about this, so I'm
This
ready.
is a new
Hit
one.
me
We
with
talked
it.
a few weeks ago about the other YouTubers who were getting. Steam was
The CS:GO guys.
the CS:GO guys. Steam was going against what they were doing, basically saying it violates their terms, whatever. Don't support it at all. I believe for the most part the sites got shut down because they can't function without the Steam included functionality.
APIs, probably.
Yeah, but this is a kind of similar thing, and it's about skins. So I'm not sure if this was maybe it took a
Well, that's what
while to get
for
through
the
the
record,
courts.
the CS:GO thing was all about skins too. Just
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yep.
Like this is about skins as well. So I don't know if this story only just turned up because it took a while to get through the British courts and whatnot. But basically, two men appeared in court charged with offences under the Gambling Act. These guys, they're YouTubers, and they're from Essex, and they're charged with promoting a lottery and advertising unlawful gambling, which happen to be these it just says skins, which we can only assume means CSGO skins, because I can't really think of any other games that sell.
I mean, there are probably other games that have big
Possibly,
skins,
but most likely it's CSGO skins.
yeah, I would probably say that too.
There's not much to this article, but they were inviting underage kids to gamble as well, which is obviously a big no-no. So
I wish.
I'm so
speaking
sick of these
gambling-
people. Like,
Oh, go ahead. Sorry, I'll let you finish.
no, go ahead. What'd you say?
I was gonna say, speaking of gambling, we really need to take a look at our video games nowadays because a lot of people, I don't know if they're noticing it or not. Overwatch is a really good example of having. Now, it's not like the worst example, but it's a really good example of gambling in games, like things like the RNG loot boxes in games in general. But Overwatch is the most recent game that has something like that in it. So, well, big game anyway. Like stuff like that is really bad. A lot of people will say, well, what's the difference between that and just outright buying a skin you want? The fact that I only have to pay 10, 15, 20 bucks for one thing, whereas I could spend upwards of $100 or so to get that one thing that I want. And some people are so addicted to that shit that it gets to the point where it's not even about getting the skin and the one skin they want. It's about getting anything.
Yeah.
And we really need to look at that in games because that, there are a lot of people out there that, gambling is an illness for some people.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. I'm talking
And it's
about
so
kind
easily
of wanting.
accessible.
It
so
is.
easily accessible,
It
even
is
by your kids.
Scarily accessible. Again, it mentions in this article that the estimated global market on betting on video games is about 4 billion, which still sickens me.
Holy shit!
Yeah, it's a sickening total. That's 4 billion pounds, not dollars.
Oh my god!
So, yeah, it's
What's
a
that
lot
in US? That's
I imagine about 6, 7.
God.
I don't know if
damn.
I can even.
That's probably you're
How do I
you're
put
about,
4 billion
probably
into currency converter? Yeah, it's about 5.2 billion, something like that, something crazy. Just crazy shit. It's a crazy amount of money. That just kind of shows how much of a problem gambling in video. That's just video games. That's not real life gambling. I mean, obviously, real life gambling is a whole other topic, but
Well, at least real life gambling is gated off by the fact that
you have
most
to be at
places,
these physical locations which don't allow
and not only
minors.
that, in most cases you have to be a certain age to gamble. I mean, that doesn't make it the best, but it definitely helps.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not even going to say this YouTuber's name. I don't feel like they deserve recognition for anything. But you have to, if you're going to set up something, sure, okay, set up, if you're doing proper gambling, for people of gambling age, have some sort of system where you can verify their age. Otherwise, you're inviting a whole world of hurt upon yourself. These people are being...
Oh, no.
They haven't officially been charged yet. The case has been adjourned until the 14th of October.
Here's the thing, though, about what you said about ages, though. When you're doing stuff like that online, you don't care how old they are. That's the thing. In most cases, you want kids to be the ones doing
Just
it
sort
because...
of disconnected from
it's so
the
easy.
person behind the screen. So, yeah, you don't care about people behind the screen. And kids are the most likely ones to over-gamble. Adults, for the most part, are aware of their bills, what they have to spend money on, all this stuff.
Unless they're addicted to gambling, but yeah.
Unless they have an actual addiction. But, we've heard so many stories about kids getting access to the parents' credit cards, and it's just...
Those parents are fucking idiots, because most of them give them the cards.
Yeah.
Is the problem.
So, I just want to buy something small. Like, myself included, back when I first started playing WoW, I was using my mum's card, and she just gave me her card, like, put in the details, pay for your subscription, and it's like, I don't know how old I was at that age, maybe 15, 16, which isn't too bad.
Go to the local shop and buy a fucking time card. That's what I would have
Exactly. It's so much safer. But no, I was a sort of sensible kid, but you can see how that can easily be an issue. There's no way in hell I would give my kid my credit cards or access to my fucking wallet as a whole. Like, that thing does not leave my pocket. It's there all the time. Fuck that. But we got on a bit of a rant again. Let's move on, shall we?
Rants are good.
Rants are good, but well, nothing negative really to say about them. Anyway, so Steam. Let's talk about Steam. Steam has altered their review system, and this kind of pisses me off.
Now, I don't know how, for the record, this was I don't know how this is going to turn out, because again, this is one
Yeah, this is a story I picked.
that it changed. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad to hear that it is changing, though. At least it means they're looking at it. Like, either way, I'm glad that they're looking at it. That makes me happy.
The biggest change with the Steam reviews, from what I can tell, is that you physically have to buy the game on Steam to leave a review. If you get the key from G2A, or you get given a key from a developer, or any other website that sells Steam keys, you cannot leave a review. Now, I sort of understand if you get a key from the developer, because most people would be like, I don't want to leave these guys a bad review, they'll never want to deal with me again. But if you're buying a key from G2A, you have no connection with the developer, and you activate the game on Steam. You have every right to leave your opinion of the game on Steam.
G2A is a shady place. Like the prices at a lot of. Well, I mean, to me it does matter, because it helps cut down on people potentially buying stolen keys. So.
Oh yeah, but okay, let's talk about sites like CD Keys. There's plenty of legitimate sites. I'm not saying.
I
CD
agree
Keys
with that.
It's legitimate. I don't know them well enough, but there's plenty of legitimate sites that sell Steam CD keys. Now, if you buy a game through there, your opinion does not matter on the Steam platform.
Well, I was going to say, like Humble Bundle, for example. They're a really great place to...
Anything you now buy on Humble Bundle, you cannot leave a review for. Which, okay, not every game will leave reviews. Only a few, will take the time to actually do so. But it infuriates me, because I feel like it's an attack on people like me who gets keys from developers. I understand that there's people out there who go, oh, okay, this big developer gave me a key. If I leave them a bad review, they'll never want to deal with me again. But for the most part, I like to think...
wrong mentality, just want to point that out.
Well, I like to think that I'm somewhat legitimate in my reviews. If I dislike a game...
No, I'm saying the wrong mentality would be to be afraid of giving a negative review. You should never be afraid to... As long as you're not, like, straight... Well, I would, but I wouldn't recommend it, just being, like, straight up, fuck this company. Like, don't do that.
That's what pisses me off about game reviewers in general. The ones who will fucking kiss ass because they want to keep these free games coming in. It's like, that's not your job. Your job is to inform your viewers or your listeners, whatever, fairly, so that they can make an informed decision on whether or not they should buy that game. the streamers or reviewers who kiss ass just to keep in good books with good graces with these companies are a fucking disgrace. But that's getting off topic again.
At the same time, though, not every one of these guys are for the consumer either. So.
No, they're not, which is dumb. They should be.
To be honest, though, I will say the one, hearing what you said, the one reason it doesn't bother me anyway is Steam reviews have been shit for the longest time. I will admit it does suck for the people who legitimately want to review the Steam games, want to leave very helpful information, but their review system was 90% of the stuff left on reviews was just trash that you had to sort through to sift through to find the decent information. Like if I want to know what a game is like, I'm not going to look at Steam reviews. I don't even bother reading them anymore at this point. Like I'd be happier if they just got rid of fucking Steam reviews in general, because most of them are fucking trolls, really.
I feel like for the most part developers give out games for these physical reviews, and I feel like it's going to impact the business in a sense. You know, what if some developers suddenly turn around and go, well, the keys we give out to these reviewers their reviews are no longer going to be taken into effect on our game on Steam, so what's the point of giving them keys in the first place? Why not just wait and let the general public say what they want?
That's the thing, though. I think you're blowing this a tad out of proportion, because most reviewers don't review their games with a Steam review.
True, I guess for the most part it's from external sites or videos, which is what I do as well, but I don't know. I just think it's dumb. Okay.
I mean, it is
fine.
It is kind
of
dumb, but
go
at the same time,
with your argument about most Steam reviews being complete trash. The people who do get keys and review it generally leave a detailed, informative review. It's their job. You know, and to cancel out those reviews of all, that's a fucking... that's kind of shooting themselves in the foot.
The number of people that read that most people don't even put stock in Steam reviews, though. They really don't. Most people don't even read the Steam reviews. Like, they're just not that big of a player.
So you're saying they just see mostly positive, mostly negative, and go, okay, I might try that, I might not try
honestly,
that.
At this point, a lot of people, what they'll do, instead of even, some of them might be intrigued enough to read the reviews, but for the most part, they'll look at the general vote, whether it's mostly negative or mostly positive. You know, that's what they'll look at, the little thing that says mostly negative or mostly positive. A game description is generally enough, for people to know whether it's worth their time to look at. And if they're still unsure, they'll walk right on over to YouTube or, one of their favorite YouTubers specifically to see if they have any information or have covered it at all. Like, I know myself, I'll check to see if you did a review, I'll look to see if Total Biscuit did a review, and I'll look to see if Jim Sterling and Angry Joe did a review. If none of them have any information on it, maybe I'll bother reading some of the Steam reviews to see what's going on. But odds are one of those 4 people I mentioned have coverage on it.
That makes sense, I guess.
I don't even think about Steam reviews for the most part. Unless it's something brand spanking new. Brand spank, and I'm not talking about a AAA title, I'm talking about, some, unheard of indie game or something like that. Something that I haven't even heard about yet. Which means, odds are, if I haven't heard about it yet, I'm not going to find that much coverage on it, so I'll just read the Steam review. But, that's a very rare exception.
Okay, it's fine. By getting back to the core subject, why block external keys and keys given by developers reviews from affecting the overall score?
That goes back to what I was saying. I think they're trying to hurt key resellers. I think that is what they're trying to do. I'm really, really certain that's what they're going for. Because it's going to hurt them more than it's going to piss people off. I can almost guarantee you
Sure,
that.
it's going to hurt them, but it's not just dumb people that it hurts. Even if it's a hardly significant impact, it's still we feel like we've been fucked over.
You're the first person I heard that's mad about it.
I am. I'm legit mad about it. You know, it's like I'm not going to post Steam reviews anymore because there's no point. There
I
really
mean,
isn't.
there wasn't really
I
a
mean,
point.
yeah, sure,
Yeah.
there wasn't much point in the first place, but why not just delete the whole fucking review system if they're
Honestly,
going to leave it in a trashy state?
I think that's what they should do, honestly, because I find the Steam review system to be useless when no, like, hardly anybody bothers with it.
Yeah.
You know?
Anyway, let's talk about Disney, shall we?
This is one I have a little bit of insight into before we read an article about layoffs, but we'll start with a little bit of history. I worked for Best Buy for about a year and a half, and during that time, we were wondering why our Disney Infinity products were getting really, like, coming in, like, very sporadically, right?
Mhm.
And why no new stuff was coming out. Apparently, got confirmed later, we found out Infinity, the Infinity game, was being stopped. They weren't making anything for it anymore. And now, today, we hear that there were, the number was about 300 layoffs. Basically, what's going on with that is Disney decided that instead of focusing on internally developing games, they're going to just, focus on franchise tie-ins. You know what I mean? Making games that tie into their major franchises and having actual developers, game developers, develop their stuff for them.
Yeah.
Not that Disney's stuff was bad, but I can see where they would want, I guess, more qualified people to do it.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense.
Yes,
Was there any specific reason why Infinity got stopped besides people not bothering with the game and just wanting the collectibles?
I don't think so. I think just
Was there anything money-wise in the game itself? I mean, they surely were making pretty good money from the collectibles.
Nope.
No.
Oh, hold on. While profits for the consumer products and interactive media division have been shrinking for the last 2 quarters, the group has still posted operating income of $1.54 billion over the first 3 quarters of the fiscal year. That's a really high number still.
That's a really high number. And
Yeah.
then I guess you got to kind of think about how big the company is in general.
Yeah. Still, that's a lot of money. But yeah, basically, it comes. I think it comes down to the fact that while it wasn't, I wouldn't say it was unsuccessful by any stretch of the imagination. It just wasn't making them the numbers that they wanted.
I wonder if the collectibles people did buy are either going to go down in price or are going to go up in price now that they're even rarer.
They're gonna go up. They're gonna go up in price.
They're even harder to obtain now, and people were already complaining that they're hard to obtain in the first place. That's interesting, even though they really serve no functionality now. I guess it's because it's Disney stuff.
The Infinity things will still work.
Well, yeah, that's true.
It's just once they're sold out, they're gone.
Oh, yes. So anything else about Disney?
No, not really.
Let's talk about one of our favourite people then, shall we?
Oh?
Chris Metzen. We all know Chris Metzen.
Yeah?
He has left
Some
Blizzard.
of us.
Well, some of us. If you've been playing WoW for a long time, you probably know Chris Metzen.
Metzen's the hype man.
He is the best. Well, okay, kind of. But he's left Blizzard after 22 long years.
Lucky fucker got to retire.
Wow.
How old is he? 42, 45?
I have no idea.
In
how
between
old he
there.
was.
But keep in mind, this guy's only like 40-some years old and he's able to retire already. Most people don't
That's crazy.
have a chance to retire before they're 70 nowadays. 60, 70 years old nowadays.
Jealous. I want to retire when I'm 30. No, but Chris Metzen, yeah, he's been with WoW, always been with Blizzard and been working on WoW for the longest time. Well, since it started, essentially.
He's the one that was responsible for Green Jesus.
Green Jesus. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, he's left. That kind of makes me sad. I mean, like, Chris Metzen was always a prominent figure whenever there'd be anything WoW related. I'm curious to see who's going to be calling the shots now and where they'll sort of take the game. I'm wondering how much of an influence he had in Legion, because Legion so far has been a really good expansion. So I'm wondering if he had much influence in that, or if this was sort of, dialing down for a while.
I don't know. I'm glad, kind of, in a way. Because while I don't know. I like him more as the hype man and stuff like that. The problem I have with him is he tended to write his favorite characters into everything. Again, that's why we had Green Jesus being so prominent for, what is it? What did I say earlier? 6 expansions?
5,
like, fuck.
6, yeah, something
yeah,
like that.
something like that. Like, seriously. Thrall's cool and all, but 6 fucking expansions, guys. Come on.
What really, took the piss was when Vol'jin comes into power and then
expansion.
he's dead. He's gone. It's like, oh, okay. How long's Savannah's gonna last then? When it wasn't even... Who was after Frau? Someone else, wasn't it? Someone who fucked things up. Yeah. But no. So he's left. And I'm curious to see in general how many more expansions they can actually pull together for WoW before people truly just get tired of it.
I mean, that's why they're starting to do things other MMOs are doing now too, though. Like with the level scaling for zones, should have been done a long time ago. Mm-hmm. They reworked their cosmetic system to where it's more accessible. Personally, I don't think you should have to go to any special vendor or anything like that
and spend a lot of money. It's not cheap still to change appearance.
Yeah. It's not that expensive for somebody like
me anyway.
But
you know, you kind of...
It's more the fact
someone like me who spends every penny he's got on the new mount and then can't afford to go to Transmog. It's like, no. Okay.
Yeah. But it's there's plenty of quality of life stuff that can be done for the game still. Like I said, the transmogging thing would be a big one. I don't know. Professions, they're getting better, but, engineering is still not all that fun, which was a really fun profession for the longest time.
What I've liked a lot so far in Legion is the quests to learn how to make new items. Instead of just going, oh, you're level whatever now, go to a trainer, pay them a fucking couple coins, and boom, you've learned how to make this new item. Now in Legion, you literally have to do a quest line to create the item, and then you learn how to do it.
My only problem with that system is I don't like the fact that it takes you into dungeons to get stuff.
Does
and
it?
one of the
I haven't noticed any dungeons so far.
Yeah, for certain things. Well, you primarily.
Oh no, actually I have. There was one I just got this morning, and it's like, oh, I have to go to a dungeon. Great, so I just left it.
But what's really irritating is there are 2 dungeons that are gated off by a reputation grind. Now, I'm not a huge fan of rep grinds, never have been. So, I don't usually do it. Unfortunately, for Suramar, if you want to complete Suramar, you have to do a rep grind, and there are 2 dungeons locked behind that rep. Which happen to fuck me progressing my engineering, because one of the dungeons I have to go to is one of the ones locked behind that rep grind.
Oh, really?
So I cannot progress.
The queue times are shit as is if you're a DPS. I can't imagine how terrible they will be after, trying to get into one of these reputation locked dungeons.
It's always going to be that way, though. Period.
Yeah,
like
DPS.
DPS queues are always, because you're the most common thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's literally millions of you. Probably.
I want to tonight hop into a dungeon and get used to tanking. I know I've been putting it off, and I just have to bite the bullet and just fucking do it.
So you saw what happened to me as a demon hunter. So you're gonna have to try hard, probably.
I've been handling lots of big stuff on my own.
Trust me when I tell you, there's a big difference between tanking mobs in the
Elites,
overworld than there is in dungeons.
Yeah.
Those sons of bitches hit hard.
Anyway, anything else you want to talk about, WoW?
I'm really excited for when we get Karazhan. We're getting a Karazhan dungeon soon.
Did they say when? Did they say when the next sort of patch, update, whatever is?
I think that drops this Tuesday.
Oh.
I want to say it drops this Tuesday, but don't quote me on that.
That'll be
Nobody
interesting.
strangle me.
I need to get my gear sets up. I'm doing pretty well. I'm about 820 now.
You're almost able to do mythics.
Yeah, I've got to do the hardcore dungeons.
At 8:30, I think you can safely go into mythics.
Sweet. Alright then, I think that's a pretty good place to end it this week, don't you?
Yeah, I want to get back to playing WoW. Come on, let's go.
I
Wrap
want
it
to go
up.
have my apple crumble and it's just been cooked. So, let's end this shit. Alright, thank you so much everyone for watching. We will see you throughout the week on other channels. You can follow Saint over that, he's over that direction at Saint Balmung, and you can watch what I do down on twitch.tv/Sodius. And we'll be going throughout the week, and of course we'll be back here next week with more gaming news. See you next time. Goodbye.